Good morning, children. Welcome back to our political science class. In the last class, electoral politics, we have discussed about how the elections had been held in the state of Haryana with an example of Chaudhry Devilal. Okay? And at the end of today's class, you will be able to learn about why elections and the process of elections in India. Let's go ahead. Children, there are some countries who are democratic and there are some countries which are non-democratic. So let's see the process of election in those countries. So why elections? It means what's the need for an election in a democracy? Firstly, we need to appreciate that in a larger community, it is not possible for all the people to sit together regularly and decide on various concerns of matter. Therefore, people elect their representatives to manage these decisions. The process by which people choose their representatives at regular intervals is known as elections. Here you can see how these people are discussing. The village people, they themselves can discuss because it's a small area. But even then, it is not possible for everybody to gather and discuss on all the issues. So that's why we need to have an elections at a regular intervals. Yes. The process of elections in democratic country differs from that of non-democratic countries. So let's take a closer look at the characteristics of a democratic election. Firstly, everyone has equal right. Everyone has equal right to vote. Secondly, different parties and candidates contest freely in the election and the voters has the right to choose their representatives from the different contestants. Thirdly, the right to choose a representative is available at regular intervals. It means for every 5 years. So therefore, elections are held at regular intervals for few years. It means 5 years. Another characteristic about a democratic election is that the preferred contestant is elected, and finally, it is important that the elections are carried out in a free and fair manner. There should be no partiality and there is no malpractices. So, that is, every person has a right to choose his or her own representative on his or her own will. Now, how healthy is this competition, children? Well, let's analyze some of the advantages and disadvantages of an election as a form of political competition. Now, let's focus first on the disadvantages. The greatest impact of the political competition is a sense of disunity that arises among different political groups across the different localities. So, people begin to point out fingers at each other for the simplest issues. For example, if they have small issue or small differences, they point out on each other that it is your fault because of your government only this happens. Like this, they point out fingers at each other. So, and aim at winning the election by hook or crook. These people, those are contesting in the elections, they wants to win in the elections by hook or crook, by the illegal means also, by the malpractices also. And these unhealthy practices destroy the system to plan for the long-term growth of the state or nation. Like this. Another major disadvantage of this political competition is that good and healthy or deserving competition, good and healthy people hesitate to participate because it's a politics or dirty politics, right? That's why so the good and deserving people hesitate to participate in the unhealthy competition. As a result, the people lose out an able representative. However, the healthy political competition can also drive the nation towards the growth and prosperity. Let's see how. Now, we all accept the fact that the politicians of today, may have a sense of duty to serve the people they are representing. It means they were elected by the people, so it is their duty to serve the people selflessly. However, they also have an aspiration to grow their own political careers, children. Many of these politicians may not even have an understanding of a real issue of the people. It means what they need. And they don't know how they can solve them also. So, how they could solve them, and so what's the way out also? What's the way out also? They don't know. Well, anyone is that we can consider educating them about their roles and responsibilities. So these politicians we can consider, we can educate them with the help of their roles and responsibilities. Another more practical approach is to the situation could be to define an appraisal and award the system for politicians. It means if you praise the politicians or if you award for their good deeds based on their performance in their practical in the political careers where people appraise their political representatives. So this is what called electoral competition. This is what called electoral competition. In an electoral competition, politicians who keep the people happy and earn an incentive in the form of a higher chance of being voted for the next election. While the politicians who fail to satisfy the people they are representing have lower chances of winning in the next elections. So therefore we can see that the just and selfish desire of growing one's political career can be a good motivation for politicians, for political parties. So for every 5 years, the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha are dissolved. Such an election is called mid-term elections. Every 5 years, the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha are dissolved, and the people elects a new representatives. It is known as general elections. It is known as general elections. Sometimes the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha are dissolved. Such an election is called mid-term elections. Normally, general elections will be held for every 5 years. At times, at the time of malpractices or the government dissolved, children, the Vidhan Sabha and the Lok Sabha dissolves. No, that time they'll be having one more election that is called mid-term elections. It means middle of the term elections are held. No, that's why they are called mid-term elections. At times, apart from the general elections, an election may be held for a single constituency. Okay, due to the untimely death or accident of a representative of the constituency. It is called by-election. I repeat, at times, apart from the general elections, children, an election may need to be held for a single constituency. It may be due to the untimely death of the representative, or accidentally something has happened, or is not feeling well. Then that time they conduct one more election for only that single constituency. So that is called by-election. So this by-election will go with the help of an example tomorrow, children. So that's all for today. Thank you.